Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. Today we are talking about probably the biggest question that every Watford fan has on their minds, and that is, can Watford stay in the Premier League this season? Can Watford survive? Hopefully me and Callum can answer your questions today. We'll bring Callum in straight away. Callum, welcome back to the stream as per usual. How's your day been?
Yeah, nothing too special, mate. How's yours been?
Not too bad, not too bad. I've been building a lovely Lego set earlier that I was given for Christmas. I'm about halfway through that. So, yeah, hopefully I've got a free day on Friday. So, probably going to finish that on Friday. But apart from that, yeah, I'm all good. And I'm looking forward to diving into Callum's thoughts and opinions, and of course, your thoughts and opinions while watching this video as well. So, literally, Callum, first question I've got for you is, can Watford avoid relegation this season?
It's looking very bleak, to be honest with you. I mean, with this bottom six that we're with, Newcastle, Everton, Burnley, who I think are already relegated, which I know is jumping the gun a bit, but I feel like their squad, whilst they've got that workhorse and they've made some decent signings over this transfer window, I just don't think they have the strength and the depth to really stay up. I mean, Sean Dyche is a class manager, but I feel like Burnley's time in the Premier League is probably come to an end. They've stayed up and they've just hit the brink of staying up multiple times over these past few seasons, but I think their time's up now. I feel like being stuck rock bottom this late on in the season is not a good place to be in, and that's exactly the place we're in. We're 19th at the moment. We've played 23 games. Burnley have 3 games in hand as well, so there's still more of a chance that they can go above us. And again, I feel like we have the same problem as Burnley. We just don't have that strength. We have world class players. We have Dennis, we have Sai, who you said in the Brighton
Oh, well,
preview.
I wouldn't say world class, but they are good. They are good.
Class. Okay, I think I'll say class then. So yeah, we have Sai, who you said the Champions League level player, who I actually do agree with. He's got clinicality. He's fast. His vision's amazing as well. He's great at passing. He's got the whole package, and I feel like he really glues this team together. But yeah, I agree with what Adam's just said there in the chat. To be honest, I'm expecting to finish 20th, and very sadly, whilst I want to try and bring the Brendan positivity, it's not really gonna work for me. I feel like Watford are just too lacking in depth. We just don't have the force as to what many of the bottom six do, and I think we're going to finish 20th, sadly.
Yes, very interesting. I think in answer to the big question, can Watford avoid relegation? I think the answer is yes, of course we can. There's no reason we can't. All we've got to do is start winning games and win a lot of games. And that still is, a possibility. Until we're mathematically relegated, we are not relegated. So I think you have to take that as maybe the only positive. But obviously performances do have to pick up. I think Callum mentioned Burnley have a lot of games in hand. Newcastle are, I think, six points above us, 5 points above us at the moment. And they've recruited really, really well in the January transfer window. I'd expect they would survive just because of the money they've spent and kind of the caliber of player they've brought in. So I think, unfortunately, it's probably going to be us, Burnley and Norwich who go down, and arguably we're 3 of the poorest teams in the division. So, on paper that would probably make sense, but I think there's still a chance, Callum, we can stay up. You mentioned the world-class players we've got in attack. Ismail Assar, obviously the standout there. Emmanuel Dennis, Joshua King, João Pedro. We've got really, really good attacking players, but I think under Roy Hodgson and especially his tactical decisions so far, he seems to be limiting, the attacking talent they've got on show. And I think, next up, we do have to talk about Roy Hodgson, his first couple of games. And the negative tactics he's shown so far, Callum. So in terms of the 3 games you've seen from Roy, Burnley, West Ham, and obviously the loss at home last time out, how would you, assess the way Roy has set up? Because for me personally, I'm not happy at all with the tactics Roy and Ray have showed so far.
You and me the same, mate. I feel like we just haven't, shown the attacking potential that we have. We have Hal Pedro, we have Dennis, we have Kucha. I've said this so many times on this channel, but it still reigns true. We have so much attacking talent, it's just not being utilised in the way that many of the Watford fans want it to. I mean, over Burnley, Brighton, and who was the other game? Burnley, Brighton, and you're gonna have to remind me. I'm not with it today.
West Ham.
West Ham. That's it. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that. But yeah, I feel like we play so negatively. We play so defensively. We have people like Kemba Sissoko, and we have Kuchka and Cleverly on the wings. I don't know what that's about. We've got people like Kali, who we brought in, who is a winger. So I could play out left midfield. So I don't know
don't you think
what's
that's
happening
crazy,
there.
Callum? Because I think that's another issue we can discuss either later this stream or another stream. We brought in Samuel Kalu, who he seemed to be a decent player. He played regularly in Liga in France, and he's just not been utilised since he's been brought in, has he?
Yeah, I know. It's seeming like a waste of money, to be honest. I know it's not a huge amount, but suffice to say, it's probably one of our standout signings this whole entire transfer window, and he's just not been. He's not got a single minute of Premier League football yet. So it's just we aren't utilising our attacking options enough. Our defence, I think, is doing the best it can do with what we have. I mean, I've been very impressed with Kamara, Samir Cathcart's been having a few decent games recently as well. So I think on that front we're pretty much fine. I reckon that's the back four and the goalkeeper that we're going to stick with for the rest of the season now, unless we have one freak injury and someone has to come back in. But we need to find a new attacking formation. We go full gung ho. We go for attacking. Actually, that's one thing I want to bring back. I know this was games ago, but I went to the Watford 4 Man United 1 match at the Vic, and when Ranieri was in charge,
match to pick, by the way.
oh man, it was such a good match. Like, that's probably the peak moment of the season for me. But yeah, in that game when Ranieri was in charge, he basically in the second half, I noticed he had an attacking style of football that we played that just clicked. We created so many chances. We really pressured the Man United defence. And sure, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't the best manager in the world, but we definitely showed that we have that attacking talent and the potential that we have if we play an attacking style of football. Hence the 4-3-3, which he said that he's opposed to using, but he hasn't done it yet. We have people like Kalu, like let me just think. We've got Kucho on the bench as well, who I think's a good super sub. We just so much attacking talent. I cannot tell you enough. We aren't utilising it, and we're playing so negatively for no reason at all. Kucho's too slow to burn a rubbing. I know that he can play really good passes, but he's just not that good of a creative pivot as to say Lauza or Etebo, who I think can really direct the game and really play those good passes over to people like Pedro, who are rapid, and Dennis as well, who has a lethality in front of goal. But unless we play an attacking formation like a 4-3-3 per se, we aren't going to get those attacking chances, and we're just not going to show the potential that we have.
It's interesting because I think obviously Roy Hodgson has been brought in to try and find that attacking balance. Obviously, defensively that was an issue for us. We needed to keep clean sheets, because ultimately if you don't keep a clean sheet, you make it a lot harder for yourself to go and win games. But I think Roy has tried to make us defensively more solid, but on the other hand, we've completely lost any attacking threat at all. We've lost all our attacking threat in these games, and at least under Xisco, at least under Ranieri, we look good going forward. We could score a goal. Yes, we might concede 2 or 3 the other end, but at least we could create chances and score goals. Whereas under Roy, the players seem to have been instructed just to not commit themselves forward at all. And I don't know how we go about striking that balance, Callum, because yes, under Ranieri, you mentioned the 4-3-3. I thought it was a really good formation, obviously going forward and creating chances for our players. But actually defensively, the 4-3-3 still didn't really serve us that well. So if you was the manager in charge of Watford, Callum, and you were playing the 4-3-3, how would you try and keep that attacking impetus, but try and solidify us at the back? Because many managers have tried it at Watford and they've failed every time.
Yeah, it's a hard one really, because it's almost like one thing is really solid and the other thing just completely falls apart, and it's really hard to try and find a balance, especially with formations and the players that we have that won't like specifically be suited to different formations that are being tried. It'll take a long time for them to adjust, as per se 4-3-3 and the 4-4-2 which Roy is using. It's going to be hard to try and find that in between, and but then again, I feel like our problem at the moment is goals. Goals win games, and with the 4-1 thrashing, I'm going to go back to it again. I'd say if an attacking system is working, like we turned on in the second half, and we've really tried to pressure the Man United defence, who are not a bad team by any standards, why try and ruin that really when we need the goals? And sure, our defence won't be as shored up as what it would be if you were to play 4-4-2, obviously, because it's more of a negative formation and we're playing more defensively. But if we need to get goals, and with the attacking talent that we have, why not try and pressure defenders? Why not try and take them on? And I know there's a player that you said there, Emmanuel Dennis, who I feel at the moment as well, like you said right before the stream, is playing for himself currently right now at the moment. And we have that attitude in the squad now of thinking that with this low down in the table, I'm just going to take on pairs by myself and just don't really play for the team anymore. And that's not what we need, especially now. And yeah, that's basically what I've got to say. We have an attacking talent, and it needs to be utilised in a more attacking formation, quite frankly. I think 4-3-3 is the way to go for now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the individuality by certain players in the team there. Emmanuel Dennis definitely was one of them against Brighton. I think Roy Hodgson mentioned it after the game. He asking for much more from his forward players. I'd argue against Roy, and I'd say, well, you do have to actually create chances for your attacking players rather than them just doing it on their own. I think there's an element of selfishness from Dennis's part, and also we're just not creating the chances for them anyway. So Dennis, Joshua King, Pedro Sarr, when they come on, they're not, as you say, really playing for the team, because the team as a whole has been instructed to sit back and not really push forward. So I think these attacking players do want to try and take it on themselves to create that chance, create that goal, whatever it may be. But that's actually hindering the team performance as a whole, because they're often doing their own thing. And, the other players are being left to defend for their lives. And, we're very susceptible to the counter-attack. We're giving up lots and lots of possession as well in recent games. I think West Ham was, 65% possession. Brighton was 75% possession in their favour as well. I don't really know where to go from here. I think Roy definitely has to learn from his mistakes quickly. Going into Aston Villa this weekend, I think they've got a quality team, much better than Brighton, definitely, and arguably on par with West Ham. So I think Aston Villa is going to be harder. Definitely harder than Brighton was, which to me is very, very concerning, because we gave up so much possession, against Brighton. So I think Roy does have to obviously, look at himself, and I think he needs to, come up with some solutions quite quickly, because we are running out of time. And, in terms of the games we've got left, we have 15 games left, Callum. There's no time to, really faff about with, defending, 0-0 draws and trying to nick a goal. We need to go and win these games, regardless of whether we keep a clean sheet or not. So I don't really know where we go from here. It's very, very frustrating. The player recruitment's been bad. You mentioned Samuel Kalu earlier. He's not kicked a ball for Watford yet. We're midway through February. Just some of the decisions that the club have made, some of the decisions the managers have made, some of the decisions the players have made. Everyone in the club has done something wrong over the past couple of years. So I think there does need to be, as I said last time out on the last video, whatever happens come the end of the season, there needs to be some sort of, like a report or something needs to happen where they can just look back on the decisions they made and go, actually, in the future, let's not do that again. And let's kind of change the structure of how we operate. I think that's kind of what's got to happen with the club going forward. Because I don't think the Pozzos necessarily need to go either. I think they're good owners. They've done a lot for the club. They've done arguably more than most fans expected with Watford reaching, an FA Cup final. However, they have made mistakes, Callum.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just want to touch on a point that's in the chat if you can find it, James. It says that I want Gino gone before we sell Sarr and Dennis, because I don't want him walking off of 80 million. I feel like if we do go down to the Championship, Sarr and Dennis will go, as I think with a number of players. I reckon, I don't know if Kamara will go. I reckon Foster will retire or he'll leave, because I feel like he's getting a bit old now, and we need pace for a new goalkeeper, and plus Okoye is probably going to start most of the games if we do end up in the Championship. So yeah, I reckon Sarr and Dennis will leave for a substantial amount, because people want Sarr. He's a good attacking player, like you said there, Champions League quality. I think he really is, and people can utilise him to a really high extent. Same with Dennis as well. I don't think he's actually. You know what? I might actually argue that he is, to be honest. I mean, he played with Club Brugge before he came to Watford and didn't do too badly there at all. So he does show that he has some real threat up front, as he's shown for many games of Watford this season. He's just been playing for himself recently and been on quite bad form. But I reckon if we can get somewhere around the price range of 80 to being ambitious, but nearly maybe 95 million, somewhere around that. Yeah, very ambitious, I know, but if we can get that for them, that'd be really beneficial. And he says there, I mean, like with Pozzo and Duxbury, I want Duxbury gone, because I feel like he's just not really made that much of an impact for the club, but as much as he can do now over these past few years, he's been incredible for us, granted, but like this past year or two, he's just not really, utilised what he can do for the club as much as he has done. From we were at the FA Cup final where we did all that kind of stuff like that when he was still in charge. I think we all, had a huge panic when we lost 3-0 to Norwich City, saying, "Oh my God, Pozzo out, Duxbury out," because it was in the heat of the moment. And sure, our form's not been great since then. We've not won a game since then, but yeah, I think Pozzo's can stay with us for one more season in the Championship, and if we don't get anywhere near, the play, I think we'll definitely get in the playoffs because we have the squad to do that. But if we don't get anywhere near automatic promotion or the playoffs, we need to seriously question their position now, and then they need to go.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I know a lot of people have very differing opinions on the matter. I certainly don't want them to go at the moment. I think that we need to see how the season pans out. I think we need to see what happens in the summer as well. Because last season or last time when we got relegated, I should say that they apologised for the mistakes they made. They said changes would be made at the club. Have them changes been made? Have they been implemented since then? I'd argue they haven't. I'd argue the structure at Watford's still the same. The sacking mentality at Watford's still the same. The way they recruit players and recruit potential talents and scout talents is the same. The managers or head coaches, however you call them at Watford, have very little input on transfer decisions as well because they're here for such a short period of time. So I'm not Pozzo's out. I'm also not Pozzo's in. I'm kind of in the middle at the moment. But obviously, depending on how this season goes and how next season goes, I could be swayed, either way. So that's currently, where I stand on that situation really. Summarising, our thoughts on the current situation, Callum, we are 5 points adrift of Newcastle at the moment, which, to be honest, is a gap. But it's a gap, we can get back. If we win a game, draw a game, if Newcastle, don't win a couple, it's quite easy for us to get that gap back to where we want it to be. But, looking at that gap, Callum, 5 points, that could get even larger. Are you starting to get a bit concerned that Watford are going to be cut so far adrift? It's going to be difficult to even catch up with, Newcastle, Brentford, Leeds, Everton, perhaps?
Simple answer, yes. I think Newcastle, they just got that vital win against Villa, Kieran Trippier free kick, and now even though they've lost him now due to an injury, he was such a vital player for them at the time, scoring those free kicks and getting them the points. I still think Newcastle will now be driven on to get these wins because they've built up their momentum now. Their fans are really excited that they could stay up. If they play like they did against Villa, they'll definitely stay up, in my opinion. And this will then put teams like us even further in trouble, and Burnley as well. And for the 18th spot, I don't know who can really occupy that at the moment. I think it goes Newcastle, us, Burnley at the moment, doesn't it? Or who's 18th? I could be.
I think Norwich are 18th at the moment.
Norwich, I think, is it? I'll have a look. I could be sorry about this. It is Norwich, yeah. So I feel like Norwich is a tough one because we have a game in hand with Norwich at the moment, and
we do.
Like you said there,
Burnley also have 3 games in hand on us.
That's what I mean, yeah. So simple answer: get some goals. It's as simple as that. We need goals. We need an attacking formation to utilise what we have. We have Kalu, who's not got any game time yet. We've bought him for, I think it was 500 grand, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a very, very, very small amount of money.
Yeah, it's a small amount, yes, but he's not exactly old. He's still got quite a few years left in him, and while he's not had Premier League experience, I still think he can utilise that left.
Maybe they had in their mind all along that they were going to bring him in regardless of whether we stayed up or went down, and maybe he was in their plans to be in the squad next season in the Championship potentially. Yeah,
I mean, Kalu, I feel like he could definitely be used as a backup for someone like Sarr or Dennis, who I think will both go if we do go into the Championship. I mean, if we assess all the people who I think will probably stay if we do go into the Championship, so Backman will stay. I reckon he'll be our goalkeeper, or he'll be our backup goalkeeper for Okoye, because I reckon Okoye will start definitely. Foster might stay out the first few games. We'll see how he gets along. If he does retire or he does move on, that is because
I think his contract's up anyway, isn't it? So
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so yeah, even that further cements the points. Yeah, I think Okoye will start. Firmino will probably stay as well. I feel like he's a good enough right back for the Championship, and I feel like he'll solidify that position. Samir will stay. Kamara will stay. Actually, I don't know. Will Kamara stay? Do you reckon?
I'd hope so, just because his contract is, I think, 4 years or 5 years at least. So obviously Watford have the security there. It all depends on wages, finances, etc. But I'd hope Kamara would stay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping so as well. He's a class left back, he really is. Actually, by the way, guys, in the comments, if you want to get your thoughts down on who's going to stay and who's going to leave in the Championship, that'd be interesting to hear your points. I feel like people maybe like, will Josh King stay? Do you reckon?
I don't think Josh King would.
I reckon he'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, personally for me, I shouldn't really do this, but just watching the way he acts on the pitch sometimes, there's a little bit of petulance there, as there is with a lot of other players as well. But, seeing how he went from Bournemouth to Everton to us, and he didn't want to be at Bournemouth. He wanted to get that Premier League move to Everton, and just that little bit of hesitancy from Josh King to not want to play in a Championship with Bournemouth. That suggests to me that he wouldn't want to play in the Championship with Watford. So I'd expect Joshua King would potentially move on as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I feel like he definitely wants to play Premier League football, and Watford's I think Watford will get relegated, so I reckon he'll definitely go. For midfielders, I reckon Tom Cleverley will stay. Etebo, I reckon, will probably stay as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Kiembe will stay. Sissoko, do you reckon? I reckon he might go.
He is on big wages. I think he's on £70,000 a week, so that's a lot for Watford to commit to a player in the Championship. I think Sissoko and Sarr are on the highest wages.
Yeah, so I feel like Sissoko will. I feel like if he's on that high of a wage bill, he'll stay definitely. I was going to actually point out in this comment today. So he said, Sissoko will leave. Interesting. I mean, it's that, like you said, that's a lot of money to commit. I mean, £70 per week. So yeah, I reckon he'll go. Actually, I don't know why I said stay. Lowes is way too good. Yeah, I don't want Lowes to leave. I think he's a great player. Dennis King and Sarr, Dennis King and Sarr will all go, and that will get us a lot of money, granted. But it's all about how we use that, and that's the whole thing with Pozzo and Duxbury. I mean, how they're going to utilise that money.
Is there someone singing in the background, by the way?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna have to tell them to just be quiet. I don't know what's going on there.
No, don't worry about it. I'm enjoying it, mate. Don't worry.
Oh mate, that's really embarrassing. Sorry if you can hear that. I mean, at least it's not me singing, so it's all good.
Are you sure you don't want to give us a bit of a rendition from a song, Callum? While you're here?
I'm good, thank you. I mean, I'll save that for the game against Arsenal.
But yeah, I do agree largely with what you said. I think like half our current squad probably would stay, if not more. I think Loser hopefully should stay. João Pedro's on a long-term contract. We haven't mentioned João Pedro actually, Callum. Just briefly on him. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of European clubs, a lot of top clubs, will be monitoring João Pedro's progress at Watford. He does have a really, really long contract. I think it's 6 or 7 years in length actually. So a really, really good contract for Watford to have and to have secured with João Pedro. Do you think he'll stay next season if we do get relegated?
Yeah, I had to go on mute there just hopefully didn't hear any more singing while she was speaking there. I mean, how Pedro, he's young, he's talented, and he's proven that he can do well in the Premier League, take on defenders. I mean, while I feel like he's almost going down Dennis's route now, of playing for himself, because I think he's already confirmed relegation. I would say confirmed relegation actually, and I feel like if we get that attacking threat, then yeah, again, I think we'll stay up because it's not over till it's over. But I reckon how Pedro will stay. I feel like he's young, he's talented, he's got a lot to prove at Watford. So yeah, I reckon he'll stay.
Very, very interesting. I certainly hope João Pedro stays as well, and that's pretty much the end of the stream. I think in summary, it's been a good discussion. I think we've discussed a lot of the permutations of the season to come. We can definitely still stay up. I think we've all got to stay as positive as we can in the current circumstances. Yes, I think we're on our worst ever home run since I think 1999, which is way before I was born. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the season pans out. A lot of tough games to come. We've still got to play Manchester City, Liverpool, United, Arsenal, Tottenham. I think we've still got to play again. In fact, I think Tottenham have played twice already, but we've pretty much got to play, the rest of the big six away from home, which obviously it's going to be very, very tough. I think Manchester United is one of the teams coming up next, so it's going to be very, very tough. Hopefully,
I've got the fixtures here actually.
Oh, here we go. Come on then. So let's see our next 5 games, Callum.
Yeah, so the 5 games we have Aston Villa, of course, next up. We then have Watford, Crystal Palace at the Vic. We have Manchester United next after that. That's going to be, if we can replicate the result that we got last time, I'll be more than happy, but that's also no guarantees. We then have Watford and Arsenal, the game that I'm going to, and I'll be documenting on the Watford, on the Hornets house. And then we have Southampton, Watford.
Okay, so there's a real, Arsenal, United, arguably, obviously the hardest games in that run, but I just don't know really what to think anymore, because I'm not really, at the moment I'm not really going to games at Vicarage Road I'm not going to enjoy myself really. I'm just going to speak to some mates, get out of the house, just have a day out, rather than actually going to watch good quality football. I think actually Sean Dyche probably plays more exciting football than Roy Hodgson at the moment, which is quite a shout. But hopefully Watford can conjure up something, and hopefully Watford can stay in the Premier League. I think Callum's having a few connection issues here, so we'll just remove Callum from there for just a second until he can get his issues resolved. But thank you very much for watching. Really do appreciate it. I'll be back on Thursday evening for a Aston Villa versus Watford match preview, which is going to be very, very exciting indeed. Hopefully, Watford can finally get a win under Roy Hodgson. That'd be very, very nice. I'd be very happy with that. On Saturday, I believe we'll be doing a watch along for the game as well, so feel free to join me for that. And apart from that, I hope everyone is having a fantastic evening. I'm very, very tired. I've got my Lego to build, which is just over there, which I'll probably continue with after this stream. And yeah, hopefully Watford can stay up this season. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on Thursday for our match preview ahead of Aston Villa versus Watford. Bye-bye.